Hi, and welcome to our discussion on boosting advisor productivity with Advisor360 solutions. I'm Patrick Noonan, Senior Product Manager of Wealth Management at Advisor360. And joining me today is Meredith Connell, our Senior Product Manager of Digital Onboarding, and Ben Davis, our Senior Product Manager of our Client Relationship Manager. Thanks, Meredith and Ben, for joining today.
Thanks, Patrick. Happy to be here.
Hi, Meredith. Hi, Patrick. Excited to be on.
Welcome. So today we're going to talk about how the Advisor360 platform really empowers advisors and their staff to work more productively as they engage and onboard new clients while servicing their existing book of business. As advisors look to service more clients and expand their scope of advice and their product offerings, it is so important that the tech stack that they're using is helping them every step of the way. I think to start, let's just talk about meeting new clients and building out new relationships. Ben, could you help us understand how our leads tool helps with that process today?
Thanks, Patrick. Let's start by acknowledging that advisors may be in different stages of their practice. Some advisors are just getting into the field. They're seeking new leads by holding networking events, buying lead lists, marketing campaigns. Everyone they know may be a lead or a prospect. On the flip side, we may have advisors who have very mature books and they're only really receiving prospects as referrals or maybe from centers of influence. I view that as sort of the whole spectrum of like how mature your practice might be. And you might be in either end of that as an advisor or somewhere in between. But the good news is, regardless of where you are, we have tools to help you manage those leads and prospects and manage them throughout their whole journey into becoming a client. We do this in a couple ways. One, it's really quick and easy to create a lead or prospect in our system. It can be something as simple as a name. Hopefully you have, an email address, a phone number. As much as you have, get it in there. What we're doing when we first create a lead is we're setting the stage for creating that record that's going to be used throughout the rest of your journey with this client. So the same lead you create might turn into a prospect, turn into a client, can be used in your planning tools, can be used in digital onboarding, as we'll talk about. But when we talk about productivity, we want to enter data once and then use it in as many places as possible. And the lead is maybe the first place that happens. Other things you can do with leads in our tool is you can keep them private just for the current advisor. You can share them with staff or other administrative folks, or you can share them with other advisors if you work in more of a team atmosphere. Leads can be segmented and managed at the practice level for things like marketing. We can tag those leads as people who are good fits for insurance or planning or wealth management, and that might dictate sort of the workflow that you put them in, which we can talk about in a few minutes. Additionally, leads that you put in Advisor360 can be found on your mobile app. We also have a great integration with Outlook. So if you're on the road and you meet a lead, you enter them in on your phone, just in your normal phone contacts area. That can sync to Outlook, which can come all the way right into Advisor360 with whatever contact information you put in there. And as I talked about before, a key portion of this experience is that lead record, which we're seeding with data now, is you're going to hang on to that and maintain that throughout the client journey all the way until they become a prospect, a client, and hopefully eventually open accounts.
Yeah, that's great. And we all know how critical it is for practices to have a very organized pipeline of new clients that they're working with. And sometimes at the beginning, like you mentioned a minute ago, that you don't know much about them. So the beginning might just be getting to know them a little bit or sharing your value proposition or just trying to get the opportunity to get in front of that prospect. But as that relationship starts to progress, you've built some trust, you've got to know them more, you really want to try to flip that prospect into a client. Talk to us a little bit about how we help advisors with that next transition.
Yeah, so we have a great workflow tool. And I mean, here's the trick, right? Just having a lead or a prospect in your system, they don't convert to clients on their own, right? It's going to take time and energy from the office and from people in the office. And you may or may not have a process figured out yet, but our workflow tool is going to enable you or your staff to sort of map out what's the standard operating procedure. What are the touch points we want to have on what cadence, who's the owner of each step. Using the workflow tool is going to help you create a really high quality and consistent experience when talking to your leads and prospects. And so the broker dealer, if you have a broker dealer or home office, they can create templates for you to get started in our platform. So you're not sort of starting from scratch, but once you have your process figured out, you'll use it over and over again. A simple process might look something like you meet a lead. Step one might be add them to your CRM system. Maybe a week later, you want to send them a welcome email, send them some relevant educational content. Each one of these steps can have a designated owner, a designated time frame. And what we're doing is we're trying to build that history inside of your CRM record. So you'll really easily be able to go in and see who's the lead, what have I done with them in the past. Maybe your next step is add them to your marketing automation tool, invite them to a networking event. And should they become a client, you can even continue on in your workflow all the way through the steps that you would need to onboard them as a client. I want to share one experience I had with an advisor who was using this tool, really, filling it out to the fullest. They were almost using the workflow tool as a way to guide or train new employees. And one of their steps said something like, hey, when this person becomes a client, we want to send them a welcome package. The welcome packages are located in the closet next to Patrick's office. And if they're an A client, you want to send them the blue package. And if they're anyone else, send them the green package. But just an example of the type of detail you can build in there and really build out that standard operating procedure or that guide that a new employee can follow if they haven't had to work through this process before.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I know in some of our advisor feedback sessions, we've had other advisors sharing their different workflows and different things that they do. So, they can kind of give other advisors some ideas or some other offices some best practices. And these workflows are so critical, right? Along this whole process, we've gathered a lot of information about our clients and really leading to what we see most often is the next step, which is creating a financial plan. The financial plan really helps both the client understand and define their goals and objectives, and also helps the advisor kind of uncover new business opportunities. And this is such a critical step. On our platform, we have over 1,500 CFPs that are using it. And we know that financial planning is the core activity that they take, but prior to really making any recommendations. So here at A360, we really try to have the tools in place to move you that next step really streamlined. So the first thing we can do is invite your client to our investor portal. And on our investor portal, they can leverage our account aggregation. So that will bring in the data on outside assets and liabilities. So you might have gathered some high-level information about that before, but now you're getting kind of into the weeds and getting the true detail with a data feed. And then we take that data, we couple it with all the data that you've collected along the way with your record here and your workflows. And we're really looking to get you to your financial planning software. So whether you're using our internal tool or using an outside tool like Money Guide or Right Capital, what we do there is we pre-fill all of this data right into those planning tools. And then we seamlessly sign you in there. So you can jump right in and really begin the planning process and using those cool features that they have to develop that client's plan. And this eliminates kind of that useless time really spending in that duplicate data entry. And then our advisors will turn around, they'll take that plan, they'll present it to the client, it will have lots of recommendations in there, and then they can kind of move towards that next step. So the next step they might make here is they might look at our proposal tool, and our proposal tool then is integrated with our model management system. So you can easily illustrate a model or a strategy that you recommended within the financial plan, and then you can look at it more of a specific investment comparison, what they have today versus what you're recommending. And then once the client is on board with all these recommendations, we're really going to another really critical point, which is implementation. So Meredith, could you talk to us how we take these recommendations and we really help and track the implementation of these recommendations?
Yeah, absolutely. At this stage, really, the advisor or their staff member can leverage our digital onboarding capability to create those accounts per that recommendation and sort of proposal that was previously created for either, the client or the household involved. Our account opening solution supports, a wide range of account types and registration. So whether you're implementing a plan for an advisory account held at a custodian or something like a direct sponsor business or variable annuities, advisors benefit from sort of a standardized collection experience regardless of the type of business. Another great feature is that you can open up multiple accounts in one sort of seamless flow within our digital onboarding capability. So that can really help streamline the process, cut down on time it takes to go through that onboarding experience, which can really help advisors when onboarding new clients. We've talked about in previous LinkedIn lives how inefficient and time consuming the account opening process especially can be in this greater onboarding process, but there's various ways that at A360 we're removing some friction for advisors and help speeding up that process to ultimately help open and fund accounts faster. One example, which Ben referenced earlier, is that that data that was previously collected, maybe at the leads or sort of initial stages with the client relationship that's stored in our CRM can then be easily pre-filled and applied to the new accounts that need to be created. So that helps, keep data consistent for that client and also reduces any, extra or additional data entry for the advisor or staff member creating the accounts. Our flexible configurable data collection also helps ensure that the right data is being collected based on, your firm's unique requirements, which helps promote sort of clean data collection to be collected, populated on forms, and that would hopefully result in fewer NIGOs at the home office. In addition, we have, a bundled forms experience. So whether it's firm forms or disclosures, custodial applications, and, forms or instructions to fund accounts. All of those forms are automatically generated in our digital onboarding system, grouped together so that there's a single forms bundle, which can then be sent to the client in a single e-signing event. Again, whether there's one or multiple accounts involved for this particular client or household. So not only, again, does that help save time and, eliminate some of the steps needed for that sort of paperwork generation process, it does, I think, help provide a smoother experience for that end client with one, sort of e-signing event, which, again, I think is critical during this onboarding period where you're really looking to make a good impression with your new client. With our wide range of back office tools and automation, the home office can really efficiently review and approve that new business. And then from there, accounts are, automatically created at custodians, accounts are funded. And from there, once accounts have actually been funded, advisors can implement that recommended investment strategy, leveraging our trading and model management capabilities that Patrick, you touched upon earlier.
Yeah, that's good. And we have talked about how important it is to not only be efficient for the advisor and their staff, but also efficient for the end user, right? This is a new relationship. So eliminating the NIGOs, one signing experience, all of that, all the data being accurate certainly sets the new relationship up on a good stance. And so kind of through this 10-minute conversation quickly here, we've talked about how we seamlessly and successfully onboarded a new client, which is great. But as we know, advisors onboard new clients all the time, but they also need to service their existing clients. And it's important to be efficient in doing both of those activities. Can you talk to us a little bit of how we help advisors manage their relationships after they've now onboarded?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, our platform has a number of solutions that help advisors manage accounts and clients over time. Through both our advisor and investor portal, advisors and their clients are able to view things like their account balances and transactional information, as well as leverage our reporting capabilities to further drill into specific data for that particular client or household or event that they're dealing with at the client level. Advisors can also take advantage of our platform notifications capability, which proactively alerts advisors and their staff about ongoing activities or events that may require, the attention or a reach out to the client over time. So, for example, things like insufficient fundings to process a periodic withdrawal. We also have a number of maintenance tools that allow advisors to update, client or account data over time as your client's needs or objectives or sort of, situation evolves over time.
Right. So it's efficiency, both in onboarding and then really managing your book, which our objective here, of course, is to let advisors and their staff spend more time with their clients, deepen their relationships, grow their book of business, and certainly less time on some administrative tasks or things that we know that technology can help them with. And it's clear that boosting advisor productivity and efficiency is a key component to our technology platform. And we are constantly looking for ways that we can help advisors and their staff manage and grow their business. Well, I'd like to thank Meredith and Ben for joining today and thank everyone else for joining and listening. If you'd like to learn more about Advisor360 and the different offerings we have, please visit our website at www.advisor360.com. Thanks for listening.